this topic, okay, sometimes we will ask what happens if our sample size is small. Okay. Okay, which means that our sample size is less than 30. Okay, and less than 30. Okay, what happens? And then the population is unknown. Okay, under this condition, the correct statistical procedure is to replace standard normal distribution with t-distribution, or sometimes we call as the student t-distribution. Okay. So, if our n is less than 30, so you need to use t-distribution. Okay, because in this chapter, your distribution should be approximate to normal. If your distribution is not normal, so actually it's very difficult for you to solve using Z and T distribution. Okay, so later kita akan try tengok punya condition. Okay. However, if the population is approximate to normal, so it doesn't matter about the sample size. Okay, so if your sample size is less than, but your population is normal, so we can see that our distribution also approximate to normal. Okay. Now, there are two problems to overcome. First, if the value of standard deviation is not known and must be estimated. Okay, so if the situation is like this, so you need to use sample standard deviation, which is S, as an estimator for standard deviation, population standard deviation. Okay, this one. If our standard deviation is not known, so you need to use S to be as a estimator untuk population standard deviation. Okay, second problem is the distribution of the random variable obtained by replacing standard deviation by an estimator is not known. So, this part you replace standard deviation with n divided by Zn. Okay, so that's why kat sini lah. Okay, so actually for Z we know that X divided by mean and standard deviation. But since this one is our n is less than 30, okay, so we use T. So our standard deviation should be replaced to the S divided by Zn. Okay, now we can see the difference between Z distribution and T distribution. So for Z distribution is higher than the T distribution. So you can see that T distribution is flatter and more spread out because the standard deviation of the T distribution is larger. So we know that despite kita tengok dekat part mana tadi, there's a standard deviation. Okay, the lower the distribution, so the higher the standard deviation. Okay, so that's why this part for T distribution, the standard deviation is larger than the standard normal distribution. So for example, this one, our standard deviation for T is 10, and then for Z, our standard deviation is 5. Okay. Okay, let's see the characteristic of the T distribution. Okay, so for T distribution is a continuous distribution. Okay, so that's why dia adalah normal distribution. Okay, it is a bell-shaped and symmetrical. Okay, there is not one T distribution but a family of T distribution, means that all T distribution have a mean of 0. Their standard deviation differ according to the sample size. The larger the n, the larger the standard deviation. Okay. The T distribution is more spread out and flatter. So this one we already see the distribution compared to the Z distribution. So we can see the T distribution is more flat. However, as the sample size increases, the T distribution approach the standard normal distribution. So this one we already proved in central limit theorem. If our n is greater or increasing, so the distribution is approach to the standard normal distribution. So same goes to the T distribution. If our sample size is increases, so the T distribution is approach to the standard normal distribution. Okay, the value of T for a given level of confidence is larger in magnitude than the corresponding Z value. Then, the confidence interval for the population mean using the T distribution with an unknown population standard deviation is given by, so we use S lah, because the standard deviation is unknown. Okay, so we use S as estimator for the population standard deviation. Therefore, we assume the samples are from normal population. So it's very important to assume that your distribution is normal population. So that's why you can use parametric test. Parametric test is include with the ZEF test. Okay. If your population or sample is not normal, so you need to use non-parametric test, but they have a condition. Later we akan jumpa for the next slide. Okay, so second, estimate the population standard deviation with the sample standard deviation. So you need to use S as the point estimate for the population standard deviation. And then last, you need to use T distribution rather than Z distribution. Okay, in this part you need to use T distribution. Okay, when we use the Z distribution or T distribution, so first, okay, so you need to identify whether your population is normal or not normal, which is normal distribution or not normal distribution. Okay, so first, if your distribution is normal, okay, so you need to check whether your standard deviation is known or unknown. Okay, if your standard deviation is known, okay, so means that this one we have a standard deviation known. So you need to use Z distribution. But if your standard deviation is unknown, S, so you need to use T distribution. Okay, so you need to differentiate between this part. This part is very important. So how to classify between these two parts lah. Okay, now is the population normal? Okay, but if your population is not normal, but your sample size is greater than 30, so you can use that distribution. Okay, but if your population is not normal and also less than 30, so you need to use non-parametric test. For non-parametric test, actually you will learn in chapter 9, which is Wilcoxon. You will see Wilcoxon, sign test, Mann-Whitney test.